When you're watching a news or sports program and you see a poll that asks you, the viewer, your opinion, it probably started with a company called Sparx. Colin Hornett of Sparx is here. He's the Chief Creative Officer. Can you guess which one of us is the creative one? Nice to have you here, Colin.
Yeah, nice. Thanks for having me.
Like the outfit and the shoes match and everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're wearing the brand. So tell me a little bit about Sparx and how this works.
So Sparx came to life a few years ago with the idea of engaging people while they watch television. All of a sudden, the smartphone came into play, and we thought, what better way than to have two-way communication with the television set to either give people control, find out what they think, or reward them for playing along by getting things right or wrong.
So how would you do that? I mentioned the poll. Polling is one aspect of it.
Yep. The best example, I guess, is the Oscars. Disney, ABC is a partner of ours, a great partner. And we did the Oscars this year for the first time ever. So while people are watching the television show, as many award shows do, they lend themselves really well to a game to be played. So people were able to predict who would win what category. If they got it right, they got points. That got them an entry into a sweepstakes, and they had a chance to win $50,000.
Such a good. Now, whose idea was this? This is a terrific idea.
I'll take all the credit. No, it's always a joint effort.
Yeah.
Obviously, we build and design the product very much with our partners in mind, but then they always shape it in interesting and unique ways, and that's what makes it so fun.
What have you found about the way people react to media now? Because, look, we're doing this here on television and also online, and we want to engage with our viewers. What have you found?
I think that's exactly it. I think that the time of passive entertainment has passed. And I think it's far more heads-up engagement, rewarding people for their time. Time is incredibly valuable. It's kind of one of the only things you have in this world. So how are you going to spend it? And when you do spend it, how are you going to be rewarded for it? And that's where we come in.
The other thing that I think is really interesting is that we have a difficult time in media measuring. Analytics have become the buzzword of the digital side.
Right.
Where on the broadcast side, we had the Nielsen ratings that we thought might be somewhat accurate, but there's all kinds of opinions on that.
Right.
Tell me about the analytics and what you give your customer and what the benefits are of it.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's incredibly important to know who is watching your show and why and how. And so what we provide is that touch point. It can be anonymous data. If it is private data and information that you're getting, we always ask the clients for it or the fans for it. But knowing who that audience is, we're able to shape that by the devices that are being used and who's watching and playing along with it, because they're actually interacting, playing along on a phone or computer. So we have that information to be able to pass through to you. Very small numbers, very big numbers, and a wide variety of information.
How do you price that all out? I mean, I know this is kind of perhaps a too delicate or too inside of a question, but how do you figure out what to charge and how that's all going to make a business out of it?
Yeah, it's a good question. It always comes up, as you would imagine. People are always curious what the price tag is. We break it down in a few different ways. First is it's going to cost us something to build, so we need to figure out what we're building for you. If it's things we've built before that we already kind of have as tools in our arsenal, then it's much easier for us to bring to life. If it's something unique and new and it takes a lot of engineering and R&D hours, that goes in a different direction. And then it's how big is the show? How much support is needed? How long does the show run for? So once we can kind of figure out the parameters, we can then provide a price.
So we're entering into this crazy election season. I think it promises to be one of the most exciting election seasons in a long, long time.
Seems like each one is that.
But this one is crazy, as you can tell, because we have so many candidates on the Democrat side, President Trump on the Republican side. How do you see this playing in politics?
I mean, I said that award shows was a great fit for this. I mean, what better way you need to find out what your constituents think, right? The last election cycle, we did a massive run with CNN and a couple of other partners. Yep. And we see that happening again. We actually used it. It was the first time ever in the history of television that augmented reality was brought to live television.
Explain it to me. I don't know what that means.
Augmented, so virtual reality, you get put into a situation where everything is artificial. Augmented reality is where you have a real life scenario and it's changed with digital experiences and virtual experiences.
Okay.
So the Iowa caucus, it was my first ever political experience. We went down to Iowa. The way Iowa works is that you have people that are supporting one candidate on one side, supporting the other candidate on the other side, and you sit there. You don't cast a ballot. But then you get to change your mind. So if you stand up and walk across the aisle, you then have to change what these percentages say. So we actually made our platform, we turned it inward for the producers to be able to use to count live and in real time as people were going back and forth across the aisle.
How cool is that?
It was amazing. It was an amazing experience, actually, yeah. And run by a very small team, very similar to how you
And
guys
we're
do.
all about telling stories here, and this is a great story to tell.
Exactly.
So it'll be interesting to see what you guys come up with for the future as far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
So let's, in your crystal ball, what would be the thing that you would want to see most about the development of your company?
That's a great question.
That's 3 great questions you told me in a row.
Yeah, I mean, I guess now I
you
know
for the
why you do your job.
Thank you for the compliment.
Yeah, it makes sense. I'd like to see power and more decision making and more control go to the fans. And I think they're keen on doing that as well, to really affect outcomes in a bigger, deeper way, but also the fantasy side of things. Right? I'm watching a sporting event or an award show, and I'm predicting what's going to happen.
Right.
So allowing fans to do that and rewarding them for that, and the platform's now gotten to a position where we can do that really creatively, and we've proven time and time again that we engage people for longer, so we have retention, and we also have ratings help as well, that we can kind of drive both those things.
Colin, that is impressive stuff.
Yeah.
All right, the company's called Sparx. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Much appreciated.
Looking forward to seeing what the future brings.
Back at you.
All right.